have to switch. You're gonna have to turn it to you a little bit.
Yeah, I'll sit back a bit. I'll sit here. Here. Alrighty, we got to get going because there's just so much to talk about. Welcome to episode 2 of the Qeason.
The Qeason.
The Qeason. Here in beautiful Doha, Qatar. The day of the Asian Cup Finals.
We're on the Raj Bay Tower number 4 in the Pearl, Doha, Qatar.
Let's do this.
Hope all you guys are doing well.
Alrighty, let's start things off, Greg. What are we talking about today?
What do we got going this week, Beggs?
I think we got to start talking straight away about that game yesterday. Game number 2 of the Friday tilt.
Game, doubleheader Fridays. So we had the doubleheader. We put Oil Kings versus the Ice Cats in the second game of our Friday schedule, and we had to build all week. I think is probably the game of the week. It didn't disappoint. It was a 2-2 tie. So
Who would have thought it, eh? Yeah. With all that offensive firepower, a 2-2 tie.
So it goes in the books as a tie. You know, our regular season, that's how it works. 1 point awarded to each team. So the Kings get 1 point. They're undefeated still. They're 2-0-1. And the Cats, I guess, get a point there too. So a much needed point to keep pace with the Kings, I guess, in this early part of the season. I think I was expecting a high-scoring affair going into that game.
You had 2 goalies that were playing back-to-backs.
Yep.
I guess they got into their grooves because, man, that was a big game for some goalie. Qeason was on fire. He had some beauties. I think Qeason might lead the league for guys standing in front of him just going, what?
Yeah.
What was that? He had one yesterday, off the pads, high. Whoever shot it was already going back to the center circle. He just snapped it out of the air and looked at him like it wasn't nothing.
There was some good goaltending in that game, no doubt. Shots were pretty high. I don't have the tallies right now on shots, but I'm pretty sure they were both in the mid-30s with shots. I think we were spectating, watching the game. You were reffing it, right?
I was reffing, yeah. Spectating as well.
So yeah, I was ringside watching the game with a lot of vigor and enthusiasm, and I thought it was billed right as the game of the week or the game of the season so far in our short, abbreviated start. I was surprised at it wasn't that it was a lack of offense; it was just good defense on both teams. The goaltenders played well,
and they did good to give them clean shots. And Paul predicted it, right? He said they were going to be. We'll just see what and they still don't have Jeremy.
Both teams were missing top-level talent. The Kings, obviously, I alluded to this last week, that's going to be an ongoing theme for Mr. Hayes and his Oil Kings. They're going to have to reap the rewards of whatever available subs they have throughout the week, and he's going to get on the horn probably 5, 6, 7, maybe even 14 days in advance when he knows the schedule. He was missing his big gun Bence on D. Bence is with the contingent in Hungary for the kids hockey. Him and Peter from our squad, Desert Heat, they're both in Hungary with the kids. The Kings were also missing Mike Patos, who's a pilot with Qatar Airways, so he was out, but they did fill in with subs. They had Simon Graham, who made his league debut, much awaited league debut. Right. Simon may have been filling in for maybe, I don't know, Alexander Skarsgård in a movie somewhere, right? He kind of looks like him, but a shorter version, yeah? So he was making his league debut for the Kings, not for his own team, which is the Surfers. So hopefully they get him back in the fold, and then
he looked good, right?
We'll see what. Yeah, he looked good for being on a bit of a break there since he played last. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of goals, but there was plenty of offensive opportunities, and the goaltenders, I think, stood on their head at times.
I think we need to talk about that last minute of play, because it was 2-2, and like I said, I was reffing, and we'll take it from Yuri
Oh yes,
Yuri
yeah.
the Russian Rocket had a breakaway, and I'm not gonna lie, I was honestly, I was looking to see who the assist was. I was assuming he was gonna score. He had a whole half an ice, and then what happened next?
Well, yeah, Yuri broke free. I think it was under 30 seconds left, maybe.
Yeah, like 20 something.
And it was a 2-2 tie.
Yeah.
So I was talking about it with the guys when we were watching from bench side. What's going to happen here? Is it going to go 2-2? I said, there's no way this is ending in a 2-2 tie. I said that with about 10 minutes left, and sure enough, it was the last minute of the play. And Yuri gets a breakout. I don't know I can't remember exactly how the play unfolded, but from deep in the Kings' end, their defensive zone, it came out. Yuri was able to get the puck, and he was clear cut pretty much. He was in free from the red line.
Yeah.
We had Daniel, who was in the nets at the time, Daniel Harari. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, Daniel. Something like to that effect, Harari. Daniel was in the nets. Played pretty good the whole, and he hasn't played a lot of hockey lately, and he was coming off an early game anyway. Both he and Thomas had already played a game in the early game. They're doing a double. He played well throughout the game, and he continued it into the final seconds when Yuri, the Russian Rocket, barrels in on him, and honestly, I'm like, okay, how is this going to look? It's going in the net.
I was
But
literally trying to look and see so who'd that come from?
Yeah.
Who's that? There's going to be a double because it was a double assist. I was
Yeah.
trying to get it right.
So I thought for sure, okay, how spectacular is this going to be?
Yeah.
And he pulls Dominic Hasek.
Just the poke check.
And the
paddle.
poke check, and it was clean. It was smooth as silk. It was no cheap, fluky, lucky poke check.
Yeah.
It was well timed. It was well
Along with
executed.
assistant. And then he got it away to the point that Yuri couldn't make the second
so
play on
they
it.
went into the corner, and the Ice Cats D-man, whoever it was able to get it back out.
And then coming down the other end.
Now we have our aforementioned Thaddeus wrestler from last week, who Paul so eloquently put is playing the best hockey right now. And even though I don't know if Thaddeus might have had a goal. He had a lot of opportunities. He had 2 or 3 breakaways again. So he gets another one within the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm over there saying, oh, it's Thaddeus, and he's got the game on his stick.
Yeah.
And Thaddeus, he's in, and he makes the move. He has the goal. He has Thomas beat. I think he had Thomas beat. He clanks it off the post, and that's how the game ends.
Kind of inside.
Within three seconds left in the game, and it was a 2-2 tie. Very entertaining game to watch. Kudos goes to the whole squad. Both squads had subs. Both squads played well. Goalies played well. Referees did well. Let them play like you want them to do. So I was very entertained by that game in particular, and it billed as the game of the weekend, so it was.
I was must say I was happy as a ref that there was a couple penalties we called, and everybody that got called a penalty kind of just turned and went to the box. It wasn't the having a wee snort because everyone just realized, yeah, I did that. It was good.
Yeah.
Good for a good clean game.
Yeah, I mean, a couple times there I thought Yuri may slash the ice like more than another player. A little bit like
we did have a warning about that's something that we're gonna about the banging the glass. That's the one they don't like.
Yeah,
so we had to have a warning. But he's got a good captain in Hayes. Hayes runs a tight
Let's
ship.
hope Nathaniel is able to reel him in and quell the demonstrative behavior sometimes. But Yuri's great. He's a great talent. So I'm hoping that he's able to make a lot more games this year. We'll see what happens.
Might say he looks a little gassed. He looked like he hadn't been playing. So I would check his flight checks, see if he's been in Phuket, maybe.
Well, I mean, he's a pilot,
Maldives.
yeah. He's with Qatar Airways, so traditionally the pilots probably are able to make 50% of their games due to their work commitments.
Yeah.
And that's no mistake with Yuri as well. He's the same, and so even though you look at Yuri and he looks like he's 14. So but
he'll get his legs under him soon enough, and probably just in time to lay a smackdown on us.
He should be able to go all day once he gets it going. So we'll see what the next few games bring.
All right, so let's move on and talk to you about the first game of the day, us against the Dune Bashers, which was we were at 1-2, looking like we just definitely didn't want to go. We've got an extended break. We've got 2 games on after this. We don't play again until next week, next Friday. So we've got a whole week. So we didn't want to go in 3 games, 1-3, So tell us all about it, Greg. How do we do?
So I guess it was a similar setup to where an integral part of how the games are going to be dictated, I think, is as we alluded to before, the case with the subs. Which team has people gone out? Which team is able to pick up guys and fill in accordingly? So we had our top gun Peter, I mentioned earlier, he and Ben are in Hungary with the kids hockey. So Peter was sitting out this one. So we were able to pick up Callie, who plays with the Cats. Now Callie was going to play with the Cats after our game, so we're grateful to Callie. Thanks very much, buddy, for helping us out. You did a double. And so we were able to put him on the back end defense-wise. And he was able to solidify a problem for us, I think, that's been very prevalent early in the season for us, the Desert Heat, is that we're a little suspect on the back end. Sometimes we're
a little thin in the back.
Yeah, we don't get the puck out promptly enough, and sometimes the sustained pressure by the other team causes us a lot of chances, and consequently you're going to give up goals if you can't get the puck out of your own end. So I think the guys, not only Callie, Yarno was playing D, and Edward stepped up. Edward usually is playing forward. Edward played back on D for us. So we had the guys back. They're doing a great job, and Callie was able to solidify it too, help transition into getting some offensive opportunities as well. So what I think, basically, we're worried going into the game. I was, and I'm sure you were. We were worried about the play of the stalwart Johnny Finnegan for the Bashers on the back end, because in his previous game versus the Surfers earlier this past week, he lit them up for, I think, 7-1, 7 goals.
He's now leading the league with 10 goals.
I think he had 7 goals,
right?
Which is pretty impressive considering he's a D-man. But he's he's a young buck, strong, fast, heavy shot. And I'd happened to sub for the Surfers in this game. So I know how the ebb and flow of the game went throughout the whole course of the game. And early in the game, we were, as I mentioned, I was subbing for the Surfers. We were able to get up to a 3-goal lead. And it looked like it was going to be a fairly competitive game. But at that point in time, Johnny Finnegan just took over the game. He was shooting from everywhere, and everything was going in. So, which brings us to the game we were talking about, the Heat versus the Bashers. So we were worried about Johnny, but
we nearly nipped them the last game. We beat them by 2 goals. What was it, like 6-4?
7-5 the first time. But this game was totally on the stick of Jesse, our number one center, Jesse. We put it in what I'd call a 6th gear.
Yeah.
A lot of the top end forwards, they have this 5th gear, and some forwards even have this, figuratively speaking, 6th gear. And I think Jesse put it into the 6th gear probably in the second period, and he was unstoppable. And I think John Finnegan had all he could handle defending Jesse the whole game, and consequently he couldn't counter. He couldn't counter like he was in the game previous this week. So I think Jesse kind of took the game under his hat, and that's how we roll. We roll to a 9-4 win.
I mean, I do think we need to change it if we're going to go anywhere. But how much of our offense involves Jesse take the puck, Jesse go, everyone else just kind of get out of his way and then hope to get to the net?
That early returns, I think, are that we kind of just stop and watch him because he's so dynamic. We kind of want him to take the bull by the horns and just, we're all going to be okay because Jesse's got. But one player cannot win you the game alone.
What used to be called with the Bulls, Michael and the Jordanaires, that was we get a little bit. Yeah. Go Jesse.
Yeah. So with Peter out, I think Jesse has an added pressure to probably carry the play for us, and he does. He does carry the play, but he has to work hard playing defense as well, right? So that can take a lot of big toll on somebody.
Yeah. And luckily, he's fit as get-go. So
I think yesterday we weren't watching as much as helping. So I think the rest of the team played a good team game as well. We were on them when they got into our zone, and they had some sustained pressure, but nothing that the goalies particularly were phased by. So I think.
How many points did you get yesterday?
I think I had 1 and 2. I had a goal early. Daniel, that's the one you let get away, buddy. I saw you were down. You had the legs wide open there. The 5-hole was glaring. It was like the tunnel in Paris. I don't know what's that famous tunnel, the lady died.
Yeah.
But I saw nothing but net, my man, and that went in. So that got us off. I think that was our second goal, and we got off to a good start. And they did come back, but then I think in the second half of the game, it was the Jesse show, and Jesse showed why he's considered arguably the number 1 player in the league.
I think we worked hard in the middle as a team, and then we managed to kind of hold on the end when they got a little bit tired as we kept up we did a good job of pinning them in. So on our team, we have these glasses, the pineapples. So they're going to go to Jesse, but to see him, I highly recommend other teams get some type of MVP type thing.
These
So
are like I guess we need to get maybe in the absence of a red Desert Heat jacket.
yeah,
We'll go with the gold trim pineapple goggles. Right.
So Jesse, these are yours,
Jesse,
buddy.
you get those for this week for the Desert Heat. And maybe, I mean, in general, you can look at Jesse's. If you wanted to go co-stars of the week across the league, I would say Jesse and John would do Mashers. You can't ignore the game that he had earlier in the week versus Surfers when he scored 7 and 1. So I'd say Jesse and John are co-stars of the week for the league, and for our team in particular, Jesse gets the pineapple and gold goggles to wear.
Go, Jesse.
We'll make sure you get them on next game before we go out there anyway.
So here's something I want to talk about while we're talking about things. I think the Moneyball move in our league to get a team across the line is as good as you got your Jessies, your John Finnegan stuff. It's getting the me's, the guys that are scrubs up to a level where if you can get those guys minimizing the mistakes, I think overall in the league, even more than getting your top guys playing better, if you can get them as a unit doing the right things, making the right moves, do you think that's the secret sauce to a championship team? Yeah,
I think it's integral because, you have to, like, hockey is a team effort, like as we always say. You don't want to sound cliche, but it is. It's not a one-man game. It's a team effort. You win as a team. You lose as a team, right? So I think a lot of what can happen to get you to that level that you need to be firing all cylinders on. And you have a wide spectrum of talent. You have the top end guys. You have the bottom guys. You have the middle guys. You have certain roles that each guy is going to be better at filling than the next guy. And I think an integral part is coaching.
Right.
A lot of people,
a lot of guys in our league too are either new to the game, haven't played a lot, or stopped playing when they were 11 years old or whatever. So you've got guys that have played a lot and are expecting people to do things. And if you can get those guys to just be in the right position, just to do that simple thing, to minimize the mistakes, I think that's your championship. That's the one. The next, those guys are like Paul yesterday. Paul on our team. Paul made 2 great poke checks at the right time to clear the puck off of some big defenseman sticks.
Paul Clark was instrumental yesterday in the hard work.
Yeah.
So often is the case. You come to the game with your lunch pail and you put in the work and you get rewarded. You may not get rewarded with a goal or an assist, but you get rewarded with a win maybe, and a pat on the back as we're talking about right now. So I feel like getting back to what you're talking about there, how important is that? It is. It's very important that from game to game, everyone kind of, early in the season, you're adjusting to the talent on your team, to how you are as a cohesive unit, to how you react when you're down a player, how you react when you're on the power play, how do you play when you're penalty killing. And a lot of these things are in-game adjustments that can be incumbent on the captain to pick up on and say, Paul, we need you to just be hard on so-and-so in the corner, and when you get the puck, if you don't have a play, fire it off the boards and get it out as quickly as we can.
It can be hard when your entire warm-up time is 7 minutes, or your entire practice time is 7 minutes before the game kicks off. But that's where the coaching. If you can pick those things and get guys just doing the right things and build on it as the season progresses, I think that's the one that makes the difference, because minimizing those mistakes overall the season can outweigh the Herculean efforts that some guys are asking some guys to make. You allow them to you're stopping their guys from making those, and it allows our guys to do the good
That's
things.
A good segue. The Herculean, I like the Herculean word there. that's a good segue into a little bit of an ad lib topic. Like, can we talk about like who has the best flow?
Well, hair flow?
Yeah, like
Or
Hercules.
With Smicer gone,
right?
I don't know. It's wide open, right?
Well, like,
Smicer had it for Dave Smicer had
who
it
was
for
it?
years.
But it was Samson who had to cut his hair. Right? I'm thinking it wasn't Hercules, but I'm sure Hercules probably had a flow as well, along with Achilles.
Yep.
The gods probably all had the hair flow going. So, who do we? If you were to look at the league now, is there anybody that could give you what you're missing in Smicer now? The gray-haired.
Kolton's got not a bad salad.
Who?
Kolton.
Kolton's got a good salad.
Kolton was supposed to be on the podcast today, but he's got a Canadian phone number, so we're not calling that. So, Kolton, get a Qatar number and you'll be on the pod.
He's got a bit of broccoli salad going there,
A little bit of flow going.
Yeah, the Squires, obviously, on the
Squires.
desert.
I think
Squires. I'd like to
Squires.
cut Squires here, actually,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
I think you're not alone.
Like with a box cutter or something. And, who else? Did anybody ring a bell other than those two? Everyone else keeps their hair kind of short.
A lot of teachers and guys that have to pilots, right? You have to keep your hair to a certain length, right?
Yeah. No,
Right.
I don't think I'm not seeing any Brock Bessers or.
No mullets.
No big time flows like Brock Besser on the Canucks. Who else has in the NHL going to have a flow? Barzell keeps it close now. There was somebody on the All-Star game. Willie Stiles, Nylander.
Yeah.
Because the boys were plugging him. I think they were asking Morgan Riley.
Nylander's got so much up here. Like, he's got a lot of volume in this part. It's sort of like, how does it fit in his head?
It's a good, Some guys you wonder, yeah. Well, so we'll take a little break now, and maybe we'll get the surprise. Not a surprise.
Well, before we have
guest,
the break, let's go. We're gonna go into. It's time to talk about the trillionaires. So what is a trillionaire? This is something that's borrowed from basketball. That a trillionaire is if you've got a number for minutes played, or in our case, games played, and then followed afterwards a whole pile of zeros. You are officially a trillionaire. So if you are that guy who's got 0 points, 0 assists, 0 penalties, you are officially on the trillionaire clock. And we're going to see who gets the highest number at the front for 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. And
ooh, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. I would like to say, too, I will officially take Dean Pasternak off because of... I apologize to Dean last game. I gave him a penalty that was not his, and he took it like a man and just took it for his team, but it wasn't his penalty. 3 guys ran into each other, and he was the first one going to the bench, so I just gave it to him, but afterwards I realized it wasn't him. So, Dean, you are off the list. But, let's talk about this list.
Derek has a knock list, apparently.
Just to be clear, too, if I was on this list, there's no way this would be a topic in our me talking about it right now. This is the fact that I'm not on the list makes me quite happy to talk about it.
This is Beg's list, by the way.
This is. If any of you are running me into the boards because of being on the list,
brainstorm of Beg's, not Gregor.
All right, so there's actually 14 players in the league that are currently on a trillion. That means they've played a game. If you haven't played a game, you're not on a trillion yet.
Are you gonna roll? Are you gonna roll these fuckers under the bus or what?
No. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you some of them. Like Yuri. Yuri's one game
in.
Yuri's in on a. Don't know. No sticks to the head, please, Yuri. But you're.
What kind of anomaly do we have here? I mean, but
it's 1 in 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? The Ostrowskis, as a couple, are on a couples trillionaire. They've each played 1 game, and.
Well, are you sure that one doesn't have a 6 and one have a 9?
I don't know. Who else we got? Sandro. Dave Copeland's on a 2. Ryan Brenzy on a 2.
Ryan's defense. Ryan, I'm here to defend you, buddy.
To be fair, these are a lot of defensemen, and there's a lot of things that happen. Yeah, there's.
You might, prorated wise, if you only played 1 game, like your chances of a trillion are pretty good.
Especially
if you're Yuri.
Especially if you're on the Surfers. Our team currently has 4
trillionaires.
4 trillionaires. Paul, Kyle. Oh no, Kyle's off it because he got 3 minutes on penalties. So he got a negative trillion. Jason, 2. Matt Larson on 1. Who else we got? Sandro, Dave Copeland. Simon Graham is also working on a trillion.
Wow.
And Stephen Pinto, you're also on the clock with a trillion. You're up to 3 trillion. But the current leader in the box,
So the current leader in the box?
Warren Franklin, on a 4 trillion.
Wow.
All right, Warren.
So
that's
here's
the
the thing is how I translate this is, does this promote penalties?
No. I think I'm
In,
open
in
to
an offbeat way, it's promoting penalties because let's say somebody's stuck on a trillion
yeah.
and they're on the schneid. How do I get off the schneid? Well, somebody might say, Christ, I'm not going to score. Christ, I'm not a playmaker. So do I go and two-hand Begley as this is his category anyway? Do I two-hand Beggs in the next game
Throw
so
it into
that I
into
get
my
off
solar
the
plexus
schneid?
in front of the net. Yeah, maybe it might have to be. I don't know. Whatever.
What do you guys think? I don't know.
I'm just motivating, but we are going to keep track of this and see who at the end of the season is the last one on a trillion. So get in there, get grimy, get that second apple. By the way, I am completely open to if you got that second assist, come up and see. I've called about 4 second assists in my career as a ref. I do not see them, so don't be afraid to campaign because I don't see them. And if you see them, but what it takes to get off the list.
The secondary assist can be sometimes what makes or breaks the goal scoring championship.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I think it might have been came down to the last game of the regular season, and I don't know if it was Charles and I'm gonna say Peter, but I'm not sure. We're vying for the scoring championship, and I think Will said I think Peter might have had an assist and it didn't, and he would have won it, and Charles couldn't catch him. I think it was something like that. But anyway, don't put too much stock into this trillionaire thing. I mean, it's all about the fun and getting out there with the boys and the camaraderie, says I, who never gets mad.
There's some video of you on the weekend having some choice words about one of our teammates.
So,
let's talk about the top of the league. Let's talk about the league taking over with the points. Jesse Pusella he's now got 14 points in total, even 7 goals, 7 assists. John Finnegan with the 10 and the 2. John Meyer with a 6 and a 4. So they're both tied with 12 apiece. John getting the nod on the goals. Nathaniel Hayes, 4 goals, 7 assists. Thaddeus Ressler, 9 goals, 1 assist. Ryan Gordon, an even 5 and 5.
well, nice. That's good continuity, isn't it, Ryan?
It is.
That's well done.
Greg Scott taking the 7 spot with a 2 and a 7. Keith Loader, he's 2 and a 7. You guys are peas in a pod.
Yeah, pretty much.
Charles Fullerton, 2 and a 7.
Same.
Getting himself going. And to round out the top 10, Will Dandenol with a 6 and a 1.
Actually,
7.
shout out to Will, who's our captain, because in our drubbing against the Doombashers earlier this week, I think we lost 10-4.
No, not June Bashers. We lost to the Oil Kings 10-4.
Was it Oil Kings 10-4? Okay, correct. Sorry, my mistake. We lost 10-4 to the Oil Kings. We didn't score. I think they were up 10-1. I think Will got the last 3 goals
He did.
in that game. So Will,
One
shout
with
out
about
to you
3 seconds left,
for
yeah.
being able to get some garbage time shit, which is always appreciated. Well, a little earlier would have been good, but we'll do it. We'll get back and get back at the Kings at some point, and hopefully we can get retribution for the last loss. We'll see. We'll see anyway. So you want to
right,
go
we'll
to
take a
break?
break and then
go to
we'll,
break, and
get back
hopefully
with our
we'll
special
be back
guest.
with a special guest. So tune back in.
Ready?
So we'll move to a different spot.
Yeah, is that better? Is that as good as you get?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's just a little cloudy. We'll do our best.
How good are we to you?
Good, perfect.
Okay, you just have to, when you're speaking to us, just be conscious of it that you're gonna have to speak a little louder.
Okay, will do.
All right, going in 3, 2, 1. And we're back here with this week's special guest, Kolton Green. one of the new players of the league. We want to talk to him about his experience, how he's ended up here, his hockey history, and shut up. So, Kolton, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into hockey, how long you've been playing, and floor is yours.
Hey guys, thanks for having me here. Just wanted to say that great idea to throw this podcast off, get a little insight into the league. Just a little bit about myself. So I'm from Newfoundland, Canada. I believe me and Greg have that in common. So came from Newfoundland. My hockey history growing up, I started when I was about 8 years old. Played minor hockey for as many years up until high school. Took a few years off, and then joined the local hockey league in CBS, the Gateway Hockey League, and then finally I ended up going to Qatar through an email. That's how I ended up here. It was a job offer from Blythe.
So what brought you to Qatar? What are you doing here?
I'm a teacher here at Qatar, working at Blythe Academy right now.
Right, the Blythe pipeline. You know, I was there once before too. It's it's a pretty solid pipeline to get Canadians here in the hockey league. I think between the CNAQ and Blythe about 4 or 5 years ago, it was about 70% of the league or something like that.
Yeah. So Kolton, being new to Doha and the Q Hockey League, the QIIHL Hockey League, how are you adjusting to it? Do you find the league it's comparable to what you were playing back in Newfoundland? Is it somewhat the same? Is it better? Is it worse? What's your first thoughts about playing in the league here?
First thoughts about playing in the league is it's first of all it's a very diverse league, which is really cool to see. You don't really see that much back in Newfoundland. Mostly just local guys, but it's really cool to have guys from Canada, from Europe, from all across the world playing in one league. So you get a taste of a couple different skill levels, and I would say that it's a lot better than what I'm used to personally. I didn't play much competitive hockey in Newfoundland, but just to see some of these guys from all across the world playing, it's really cool to see.
So that's great. So you guys, you play on the Silver Surfers. Your captain there is Yarko. Sorry. So you guys are kind of off to a somewhat, I wouldn't say bad start, a little slow. What do you attribute your success or lack thereof right now? Do you see the team going forward, gelling a little bit? What are your thoughts on the first few games of the season for you guys?
First few games, all across the league, it's been pretty different from last season. Some similar teams are at the top, like the Kings, and our team last year was ended up in second place at the end of the season. So far this year, it hasn't been the same, but I attribute that to a couple of our top guys who got drafted in the first and second round, Sean and Simon, haven't been around for the first few games. So looking forward to get those guys back and building that chemistry with those guys to hopefully climb back up in the standings.
Yeah, those ones and twos can really make a difference. So how are you finding living life in just we're two old married men. How you finding life in Doha and the club scene and the life and stuff here? How you hanging with it?
Oh, it's been honestly amazing to see the different culture and the city and the views and the weather. It's not something that I'm very used to, but something that I can get used to very quickly.
Is that what they call it these days? They call it culture. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we call it culture.
Right. Where are you from in Newfoundland? I'll just say my brother-in-law is from Hampton. I don't know if you know that, some tiny little town somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And where are you from?
I'm from Mount Pearl, so.
Mine is also one of those. I'm from Placentia, which is just about an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 15 minutes from St. John's, from the big city. So I'm coming from a small town, but I've been living in St. John's for the past 7 or 8 years before moving here.
Right. So, what do you think about the league going forward? Is there anything that you'd like to see happen with regards to setup, extracurricular activities? I know we do the draft. We do the draft twice a year, and then we have a league end party. at the end of the season? Is there anything that maybe the league might want to look at from a social platform that we can do a better job at? Any ideas?
Not really. This draft, I mean, is an awesome idea. It gets everyone together, gets everyone to get to know each other. See those names come up on the board has been a cool experience. Just waiting for your name to be called. Social aspects, I know my team personally at the end of the year, the Surfers, we had a little team barbecue to kind of cap off the year, cap off our success. So maybe a couple things like that throughout the year, maybe a mid-season break to get ready for the second half, get ready for the competitive final push for the playoffs. So just in your teams, or maybe another kind of social event to get everyone together, talk about the season. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So just throwing it out there, the Heat, we're going to see this one championship, this the Fighting at Lucille Stadium. We're all going as a team, and there's spots still available. Tickets are good. They're like 100 reals, like 5 champions fights. Maybe the Surfers get in on it. We can all go there together. You guys could benefit from watching the pugilists.
Yeah.
Watching the fighting in the rings.
Or maybe we can get another card going, like on the octagon. The octagon between the Surfers and the Heat.
We talked about it last week. That game, I was reffing that game, and watching York getting fired up and banging into bodies and stuff. Something was going on. You guys, I've never seen that before off of him once.
The adrenaline was pumping for sure. I've never seen Yarko like that either. But that comeback win certainly sparked something inside of all of us, and hopefully we can carry that going forward. But no, they had the one championship. That was something that me and a couple of my co-workers have been talking about too. So maybe setting something like that up, or checking out some football games here and there would be a great experience.
Yeah, it's one of the good things about Qatar is that you can usually see some pretty amazing events for pretty dirt cheap relative to what you have to pay for back home, right? There's lots of free things going on.
It's every weekend here there's something going on, and like you guys mentioned the other week, parking, gotta keep a heads up for that going forward too.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, let me ask you this: are you doing any, as one of the young guys league? Are you doing anything training specific to get yourself in shape for hockey? You following anything? You got any routines you're doing? Are you doing anything to keep your fitness up that's hockey specific? You can pass on to any of us old men just trying to stay alive.
Well, first, I want to say thanks for calling me a young man. I'm getting up there, 25 years old. I know that doesn't mean much to you guys, but I'm trying to keep myself in shape. I took a couple years off of hockey after high school, so I didn't really get into that routine of practicing twice a week or playing games every other weekend. So just staying in shape, trying to go to the gym as much as I can, trying to get as many skates as I can, whether it's subbing for other teams, going forward, maybe not the Will Kings, because I don't want to help them out anymore with the top of standings, but just trying to get as many skates in as possible, stay loose, and just ride that going forward, yeah. No tips for me.
So it seems like the common theme so far in our first 2 podcasts is that there's a lot of relations to this Oil Kings squad. A lot of references to the
But
Oil
hey,
Kings.
by proxy, you guys beat the team that tied the Oil Kings, so by that proxy, you guys are the best team in the league. Isn't that how it works?
That's what we're going to go with.
Yes.
We're going to go with right now.
Yes. That's the best way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they have a great squad. They have a very similar squad from last season. I know they had John Finnegan and Hayes on the back line there last season, and now they have a very similar structure with Hayes and Vince, which is, tough to beat. It's tough to get by those guys. But, with every team, like you guys said, at any given Sunday, especially come playoff time, if we can figure out a plan to stop those guys, it's going to start with 2 of them in the back end.
So is there anyone on your team, Kolton, that you want to give a shout out to? Anybody that's an unsung hero? Maybe someone with some silky mitts or something that people don't actually notice that you've noticed and been like, that guy's putting in work.
We'll give a shout out to a couple of the guys that I work with at Blythe Academy. I got 2 of them on my team this year. Scott Alton, who's also a rookie, and we got Ref Dean, Dean Pasternak. Both of those guys are on my squad this year.
Yeah, isn't he just?
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah, Brandon's a nice addition for the goaltender rotation for sure. We're glad to have him added to that. He's pretty skilled in between the pipes, so that's a great addition to the goaltender roster for sure.
We were talking about Tyson earlier is probably leading the league in what the hell just happened saves, but I think he might be up there too. Of just that hand comes out, and you're just like, that puck was in the back of the net, and all of a sudden it's in his glove, and he's just looking at you, right?
Oh, he's so stable between the pipes. He's very sound. He knows his positioning. So it's tough. It's going to take tough couple shots to beat him. I know Thaddeus had a nice one on him a few weeks ago. He might not like me saying that, but it's going to take guys like that to get past him. In terms of my team, I mean, we have a surplus of person on our team from last season, including myself, Blake, Todd, and Yarko, our captain. So we have a lot of chemistry between us, but we got a couple new faces. Like I said, like Scott, he's been a big unsung hero for us, and always steps up, always plays the right way. So look for him going forward when we get our full team back together.
It's nice to hear that there's so many Blythe. Last year there wasn't that many. Blythe was a big part. It's good to hear that there's so many Blythe teachers that are. You guys are sitting around the teachers' room talking about assists and penalty minutes and stuff. It's good to hear.
Yeah, we tend to talk about the league quite often, whether it's in school, sending chirps back and forth.
You'll have to put this podcast on the loudspeakers in the morning when the kids are coming into school.
Yeah.
Mr. Cooney always tends to come into my classroom and let my students know that he beat me 11-2 or something the night before, which I have to redeem myself for those.
All right. Well.
All right, man. I'm a little afraid. There's probably about 100% chance you're going to sound like you're underwater on this one. And apologize to everyone else. It's a bit of a bad. Well, we might have to start changing the plan and getting some live bodies over here.
Yeah, we're going to work on the audio and the video, I guess, and streamline it. If anyone has any helpful advice to us to what we can do to make the podcast go smoother, so that it can be clear and concise and stuff, just don't be afraid to let us know if anybody has any ideas of what they'd like to see, and as far as content as well, right?
Yep.
If there's something that you guys would like us to talk about that you feel is pertinent to the scene here in Doha, it doesn't necessarily have to be all about hockey. I mean, hockey's our main focus here in the desert, but we're going to get into other things such as pop culture, and we got the big Super Bowl game. We'll talk about that now in the next.
And the Qatar, everyone's pulling for Qatar to win this game, so we all get a day off of work tomorrow. That's the big one we're hoping for, right? Go Qatar, beat Jordan, day off work. Come on.
Yeah, I think I'm going to head out myself and take that game. And I think, but I just want to say good job, guys, to really kickstart this podcast. I think more guys, when they start listening to it, they'll be want to be guests on it, and maybe even get the word out to people outside of the league too, I think.
Yeah, we were surprised at how many people. I mean, I looked at the analytics of it all, and we got people from Spain and South Korea all over the place. We got 100 listeners. It was.
I don't think Paul Bisnasty and
Ryan Whitley
they have anything to worry about taking over their viewing. The
Greg's and Begs. We got to come up with a liquor, and then we're done for.
Yeah, we're fairly novice, so we'll do the best we can, and as long as we can entertain and be there, that's good.
No, Kolton, before we go, one thing we're off this week basically. So any games you're looking forward to, you guys you must have a full schedule. What are you guys looking forward to? Who you want to play? What's the big game circled on your calendar this week?
Honestly, the big games are against the top teams in the league. We want to show that we can run with them as well. Nothing will change from last season. So circling on the calendar is the Oil Kings. Looking forward to playing those guys and showing them what we can do with a full squad this time.
I'll tell you, as someone that's lived in Doha now for my 9th year, and I have played hockey, I haven't played hockey. Without hockey, the best thing about hockey is waking up on a game day morning and just being like, I got a hockey game today. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's honestly the last thing I expected when I moved here was to wake up 3 times a week and play a game of hockey. So just grateful for that. Coming from Newfoundland, coming from a hockey background, to have something like that here in the desert is awesome.
sure. It gives you a little outlet while you're here in the desert. That's great. All right, Kolton, thanks for being our second guest on the Qeason.
The Qeason?
Second episode. It was great to have your thoughts and opinions of the league and stuff, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the rink.
No sweat. Take care, guys. Thanks.
Okay,
All right,
thank
later.
you.
All right, so I'm sure that sounded. I just hit the button. We will finish off with our. And it said the Heat, we're off. We don't play until Friday. We need to get some trainings in, boys. Heat, get your laps in. Start doing some beep tests. Let's mark your 5Ks. Everyone on Strava comparing each other. But for the rest of the league,
Yeah. So on Sunday, tomorrow, right off the hop, there's a home and home, basically. The Oil King is a home and home here in Doha. So you travel from the rink back to your home, and you go back to the rink again the next day, play the same team. We'll call that a home and home. The Kings are hosting the Ice Cats in a rematch of yesterday's game, which I am going to be actually subbing for the Ice Cats
I'm reffing.
in this game. So we both are going to be on the ice, and hopefully we don't collide, you and I.
There's entirely
And I'm
possibility.
able, so that'll be a rematch between yesterday's game, which was a 2-2 tie. So that'll be one to watch for sure, and I'll be partaking for the Ice Cats in that one. Then the second game tomorrow night, Surfers are hosting the Bashers, which should be a good game. They both played well against each other last week, so that's kind of a rematch as well. Tuesday, the Bashers are hosting the Kings, so I think this might mark the first time
Yeah, no, I think so.
that they play
Yep.
this season, and it'll mark the first time that John Finnegan, who's the stalwart D guy for the Doom Bashers, we talked about him earlier, that he will go against his old squad, and Captain Hayes, who, when they won the championship, he was an integral part of the Kings championship last year. That's the first time I think that they'll actually be head to head. So it'll be interesting how that unfolds, how that game plays out. And then next Friday, the Kings will host the Surfers in the early game. Oh, sorry, no, Ice Cats will host us, the Desert Heat. That'll be the first time that we'll get to meet the Ice Cats, Jimmy Mack and company.
That'll be exciting to see
That'll be
what-
exciting to see where we stand with those, how we
because
stack up against.
We've only played 2 teams, so it'll be good to see where we're at and compared to them, right?
Maybe we'll get Peter back for that one. I'm not sure if he's back in time, but we'll see. And the Oil Kings are hosting the Surfers in the second game. So lots of nice puck to look forward to this week. And, I don't know if we're getting any viewers other than the hockey community, but if you're in Doha and you're listening to our podcast, come by and spectate, have a look at our hockey, have a look at what we have to offer there at Gondolini Ice Rink at the Bellagio Mall. If you're
Apologize to the background noise. We got the Asian Cup firing up here. Everybody in Doha is pulling for Qatar to win because we'll all probably get a day off tomorrow. So hopefully by the time you hear this, we'll know whether or not we're cruising on a Sunday. But
So we also, just to throw it in there, we also have the big game happening on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
In Las Vegas, Nevada at Allegiant Stadium. The Chiefs and the 49ers. So that'll
perfect setup.
Yeah,
Qatar wins.
Yeah.
I know I have tomorrow off.
yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, I'm up watching the Super Bowl, sleeping in, down by the pool. Come on, Qatar, make it happen.
So I don't know who begs. Who are you into football at all? American football?
I'm a Buffalo Bills guy, but
Yeah, I'm a Broncos fan, so it wouldn't matter who the Chiefs were playing. I would be going for whoever they're playing. So I'm going to be supporting the Niners in Sunday's game. Probably won't get to see it until replay the next day on a Monday, and we have Sports Day as a holiday, so it might be a good
Could be a
good time
magical
for
week.
people to go out and check out a replay of the game somewhere. But I'm going to take the Niners, and I'm going to take them by 10 points over the Chiefs. And
I want to
we'll
take
see.
them. I want to take the Niners so badly, but Brock Purdy looks like he's in the 8th grade. Like
He does look
I
eight.
know he can. Maybe he can do it, but my goodness, dude, that dude looks like he is 11 years old, and I just think the whole world's
There
getting
was-
like Mahomes knows what he's doing. He's been there. He's done that.
Well, Mahomes is he's a whiner.
Yeah,
He
but
kind of You know,
I
like he was
want to
complaining
see it.
about
I
the
want to see it.
refereeing.
I just. And the thing is that everyone says about the Super Bowl that messes up teams time and again is that halftime is forever. So if you've been there before, you know what it's like. But if you're new to it, that second half is like, it feels like a whole separate game if you're not used to it, because you get so cold, because instead of being like 20 minutes or whatever it is, it's like an hour. And there's and by the time you come to the field, they're wiping confetti off, and it's just a totally different game. So
you've got Kermit the Frog and Kelsey taking it.
Kermit the Frog. What's his
Mahomes is Kermit the Frog.
yeah, the was Eastbound and Down. You ever heard seen that comparison of him talking like the guy from Eastbound and Down and him?
Yeah,
same person.
I think there'll be co-MVPs. I think Brock Purdy will be one MVP, and even though she lost, Taylor Swift will be also co-MVP.
Is he going to propose to her at the end of the game?
Well, that's Kelsey. No, I mean that's the thing. Does the world want Kelsey to be MVP? And then there's two co-MVPs for sure.
To be fair, the world has no idea who Kelsey is. Does America want Kelsey to be? If you talk to some Indian dude that's at the Village Mall and said, should Travis Kelsey marry Taylor Swift, you go, what?
What, do you give you a head wobble first?
I don't know. What is this? That's one of the things we're going to do. I want to get out and I want to interview some of those guys who come and watch hockey, just see what's, because I'm sure there's some guys who've never seen it before and are just, what is happening? All right,
So
we'll leave it on that.
On that note, we'll see you next week, and until then, keep your head up, keep your stick on the ice.